35, 30-ish. It's okay. We'll start right now because it's off the cuff. So everything is off the cuff and not on schedule. Everything is sudden. So thank you everybody for coming. I see a lot of guests are here. Wow, look at our speaker with a very, very fancy backdrop. That's incredible. We have Julius, long time no see. It's good to see you again. And Bonaventure, you have been our strong supporter. You have never missed a center stage yet. So I thank you so much for your support. And there are new faces that I've never seen as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you everybody for coming. And welcome to center stage. You might be wondering, what is center stage? What is this all mean? You know, is this Toastmasters stuff? Is it not Toastmasters stuff? I've never heard about that. So what Toastmasters center stage is, it's something that the trainers and coaches Advanced Toastmasters Club come up with, because in the club itself, most, if not all of our members are coaches, trainers, facilitators, or aspiring to be coaches, trainers, or facilitators. And this gives them a center stage for them to become the speaker that they aspire to be, or for those who are already established speakers and trainers, for them to share their knowledge and their experience and their expertise to us so that we can all learn and grow together. And we will be using the level 5 project 1 of presentation mastery, or level 5 elective of presentation mastery, which is prepare to speak professionally. And prepare to speak professionally is for the speaker to speak in front of the audience for 18 to 20 minutes. 18 to 22 minutes. However, because we are all advanced, we give the time to be 20 to 22 minutes so that you have more to share to us. And after the speech is over, we will open the floor for Q&A for 12 to 14 minutes of Q&A. If you have any questions that you want to ask the speakers, or you have anything you want to learn more, to find out more, you can ask the speaker during the Q&A session. And I would appreciate it if there's any questions that you have, you can put it in the chat, and we will then read on to the speakers. Otherwise, it will be a little bit difficult to keep track of all the questions coming in. Okay, so with that, I hope all of you are clear what center stage is all about. And I'm really, really excited for this one. This is the third center stage, and the speaker is also my mentor at my other club. And I want to invite someone very, very special to bring this speaker to the stage. And I would like to welcome Jai.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ping. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we were all waiting for. Our center stage speaker today is someone I met 4 years ago in 2017 at District 51's Toastmasters annual 25th anniversary milestone conference in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Now, let me add that since I'm blind, I have absolutely no clue as to who I'm talking to, and I still do not know what our speaker today looks like. But she left an indelible impression on me with her voice, with the vibes she exuded, and with her vivaciousness. I could feel the passion in her words and in what she does, which incidentally I believe is one of the highest qualities of someone who's self-driven and who focuses on self-development. So ladies and gentlemen, please make some room in your hearts and your minds for our speaker today to fill it with her words and her ideas. Please give a virtual thunderous round of applause and will help me welcome none other than a Toastmaster for 13 years, the author of the book Listening is Sexy, a title that I love, and Miranda DTM, Miranda Rumi, to take it away. The stage is all yours, Miranda.
Thank you, Jai. What an introduction. The very best one I've heard because it comes from...
I'm so sorry. With the title, Feel It to Heal It. Feel It to Heal It, Miranda Rumi.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I would just start right away. This session is going to be a little bit different than the usual format for Center Stage because it's going to be very interactive. And I would like everybody just to participate, ask questions, or respond when I ask you questions. Okay. So to heal is to heal. Sounds like a good title, right? You know, it sounds smart, but what does that really mean? I wonder if that thought comes to your mind. What does that really mean? Or if you are here because you're curious, what is it going to be? So if you have that thought about what does that really mean, please type yes in the chat. And then if you feel like I totally get it, so just write get it, got it. Okay, so that kind of like have a little bit of a understanding and idea where, oh, okay, so yes, got it. All right, so quite a lot of people say got it too. This is wonderful because a lot of people don't really, okay, they think they know what feeling is, but they actually don't really know how that feels like or that how that looks like. So this concept is very simple. The words are very simple. It's only 4-5 words, but it's abstract. Do you agree with me? It's abstract, right? And but let me give you some illustration, and maybe that will help you in a little bit. So, have you ever experienced a time when you hold grudges towards someone, and every time you see that person, you feel some resentment? So I'm going to read a few scenarios, and if you experience that, just write me, okay? And then, have you ever felt annoyed with someone, and but you can't really express it to that person because you're afraid they might get angry, withdraw, give you a cold shoulders, or silent treatment? Oh, see, I see quite a few people say yes, me. Or you have a money situation where they're having debts, not having enough money, worry about future finances, and you may not know what to do about it. And you may not even have someone to share that. So you kind of like keep that inside you, keep this burden. Yeah. So some of us, or most of us, have experienced one or the other of that. And this is where feeling it comes in. So I'm going to share a story that was actually experienced by a friend of mine, or also somebody that I work with. And his situation, he has given me the full permission to share this for this session. He has the experience that he is the only child, and he's in his mid-30s. He is still single, and his father has been ill for quite some time now. The kind of illness where you have have to be like going through dialysis. You know what dialysis is? You know, changing your blood or cleansing your blood, and so having to go to the hospital twice a week, every week. And he has nobody else. I mean, he has his mother, but he doesn't have brothers or sisters or cousins. So he had been really trapped into this role. And his desires, his passions is huge. He would like to travel, he would like to be able to do things, or even just, you know, going away from the house for a few days. And he cannot do that. And he is a very talented person. He has so much potential. He's very gifted. And for years, I've seen this friend, this person, like just keeping it in, And once he gave a speech, it just came out, and he was just almost bursting into tears when he was sharing this. So first time I talked to him about that, I said, well, like it's not good to just keep it in. You need to feel that. You need to allow that to flow through you. And he said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he didn't, it's just like coming from one ear and then out the other ear. And so another 2 years passed. So I saw him again. And, every time we met, oh, I can't do that because like suddenly my father is sick, and not just the regular things, going to the hospital, but also uh, further complications that require hospitalization. So I could feel, like his stress was mounting, and also of course he's spending money for every time that he had to go to hospital or go for hospitalization. So he came and we talked about it like a few weeks ago, and then I was telling him or sharing with him, suggesting with him, you need to feel that. So what do you do when that happens? He said, well, I just tell myself, well, there's nothing I can do about it, and I just have had to accept it. I said, so when you say that, how do you really feel? And his face just turned down and said, like, it makes me angry. I just want to scream. I want to just break out from this situation, but I couldn't. I said, okay, I'm going to give you some suggestion and to feel. Okay, how does that look like? Okay, I'm going to share with you in a little bit, but let me just give you his response. Okay, this is what he said. He said, "Please share this issue or this what I experienced with the group. Remember, I used to accept to feel my emotions, and now I'm learning to accept that. So you start feeling it?" I asked. Yes. He said, yes, it hurts, but culture and things around me made me suppress it. How did you suppress it? He said, with distractions. Well, with, like I would play music, I would go singing, or I would go into the garden and start planting. He said, okay, that's good. And then what happened when you stopped doing that? I felt it again. So, but now, he said, recently, I'm trying to feel as you advised, and I felt a lot lighter. I used to be just so stressed, just on my own, because I could not really share it, and nobody really, they kind of laugh at me when I talked about this, or they said, well, that is your duties, like that's how we do it, right? So, and when I experience that, when I feel these emotions and then not really doing anything and just keeping it, I felt headaches, I experienced headaches, I experienced like, like nervousness and nausea sometimes. But now, by just letting it out slowly, slowly, I'm feeling it, it's flowing. I cried, I screamed, and when I feel the emotion bursting, I never again try to look happy when I'm not happy. I'm just trying to be natural. And sometimes when I'm feeling anger towards somebody, I feel that anger. I allow myself to feel that anger. And I hit pillows and just go crazy with that. I screamed, and I feel so much better after that. So that is the gist of feeling emotion. So if you look at the quote that was coming with the poster, Brené Brown, if you know, she's the one who spoke about vulnerability, daring to be vulnerable. She talks about the suppression. If you suppress emotions, you numb emotions, you don't just numb the negative ones, but you also numb the positive ones. I don't know if you've experienced that, but if you have these emotions that you suppress and you cannot really share, maybe it's because you're feeling ashamed, or you feel like nobody would understand you, so just keep it and keep it, and these emotions don't really go away. You may be able to distract, you may be able to not think it, tell yourself, saying that, or I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to have fun, right? You go and you go to karaoke or you go shopping, you laugh. But if you notice, whenever you come back to that situation again, this feeling comes back, or when you suddenly remember that, you lose your appetite. You feel your body tightens and you start feeling resentment or your mood changes. You don't have the mood for certain things anymore. So with this, actually, I know I've been speaking and I'm giving you an example, but I would love to have any one of you, if you would like to share in 2 sentences what you're going through, and then, or the things that bother you, the things that keep you awake at night, or whenever you think about it, everything just kind of like collapse or just feels heavy in you. And if you would like to share that, then we can explore that and giving you an example what feeling is and what feeling is not. Anybody would like to do that? Yes, I'm reading here. If you suppress your feelings, you numb. Okay. And being trapped by your environment and people around you and vindicated by people for just being yourself. Wow. That feels very painful, isn't it? Yeah. Would anyone like to share or volunteer? Yes, Sangita. Please. Can you maybe share just like the thing that really bothers whenever you think about it?
Yeah, so this COVID has attacked, I think, almost everyone, and it has just shut up everyone inside their homes for a really, really long time. So when you put in people, like I have a teenage son, and my husband is working out of home, and I'm also there. There is no house help, and you're actually swamped with work for the last 1 year. I find that I spend most of my time doing things for others. And I really don't find the time to take off for myself because there's no way I can go out. Even for a walk right now, it's not advisable because the second wave is hitting almost everywhere right now. So it is very dangerous to go out. So you're cooped inside with 3 people who are dealing with their own turmoil and emotions. So this is a perfect cocktail for an RTX. So at the end of the day, you feel so emotionally drained that you have to suppress yourself and keep the calm and peace around so that other people don't explode and they are also able to keep their thing. So at the end of the day, you feel emotionally very drained out. And that's something I've been facing at least for the last couple of months. So it's something that keeps me up at night these days.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
point
Well,
that I'm not able to express myself because I can't explode because it makes the other people explode as well.
yes, yes. Thank you, Sangita, for sharing that. And I'm sure you're not the only one who experienced this. If anyone else who feels something similar or seeing something like that, please type yes or why so that we can also support. And sometimes just knowing that you're not alone is also is kind of like a little bit of a lightening, right? So if you have anyone feels something like that, similar to that, please just say yes. So Sangita, yeah, this is exactly where I want to demonstrate what is feeling and what is not feeling. What I'm hearing is like you cannot just go inside because yeah, there's so many things so many factors, so many things going on that you have to pay attention. You have to be a wife, you have to be a mother, and you have to be nice also, right? Which is a lot of pressure inside, and I can imagine inside you just want to explode because there's just so much pressure and so much like the feeling that it's not going anywhere. So what does feeling like? Let me just say what feeling is not like first. So what is not feeling is when you try to so suppressing or numbing it, when you try to not think about it, when you try even just that word, I try not to be. In the minute that you try, there's already like this efforting. There's also this, I don't really want to do this, but I've got to, right? that feeling that I have no choice. And that just feels very heavy. I'm sure anyone who feels that you got no choice, but you have to compromise, you have to suck it up, you have to do what is expected or supposed to do with you, it already feels very heavy, and there's resentment already right from that moment. And in the beginning you probably could brush it off. You could say, well, yeah, it's no big deal, I should be able to handle this, they don't mean it, or they're also in the same boat, and that. But you can only go so far trying to manage that with your mind, with your thinking. Sooner or later it's just like, yeah, I can feel that now, Sangeeta, this feeling that you're feeling suffocated, the feeling that you cannot really breathe, right? Okay, so we all very good at not feeling, by distracting ourselves, by going with what is considered the norms or the right thing by the society or what our parents tell us. And essentially, it's not about taking care of ourselves. We have to take care of other people first, right? Because that's what we've been taught. And if we take care of ourselves, then we're called selfish, and we don't want to be called selfish. So we hard. Okay, so all these things that are not feeling is not working. Any distraction that you do, you can only manage for a little bit, even if you can have fun for an hour or a day. When you come back to that situation, it just came back again. That heaviness is going to surround you again and shroud you. All right, so now what is feeling? So feeling, it's very simple, but it's very hard to do because we were not taught to feel. We were taught not to feel. If you remember, when we were little, we cried, and then we were told not to cry, right? Or distracted. And then if we have children, we also try to stop them from crying. And this is actually a form of suppression already. So, okay, I can talk for hours about this, but let's just now feel. This is what we can do to feel. So to feel, actually the moment, so I want you who have some issues or some things that you can think of, think about that and notice how your body immediately reacts to that. Do you feel tension? Do you feel tightness? Or do you feel heaviness in your heart or your chest? If you do, there's some discomfort, right? There's some discomfort, and most people don't want to feel discomfort, and they want to run away from it. That's why they don't want to feel. So, but the key to be out of this is actually through, not around it. So now I would like to ask you, think about that thing again that bothered you, and then feel your body, like feel the discomfort, feel the tightness, or maybe there's some pains, maybe in the back of your head or anywhere. Just be with that. Just be with that feeling. And don't do anything else. Don't try to make it go away or to change. So I want you just to be with that, and then just breathe. Focus your attention just on your breathing, feeling the air coming in through your nose, going inside your body to your tummy if possible, and then letting it go out again. And then whenever that thought comes back again, you acknowledge it. Yes, thought, I hear you, I see you. But now I want to focus on my breathing, and just come back to the breathing again. And do that a few times. And every time you release your breath, if you still feel some tightness, you can use your mind to make it relax a little bit. And by relaxing, when you relax your body, you can feel it heavier. You can feel it heavier, and if you're sitting, you probably can feel it sinking a little bit deeper in your chair. Yeah, so with breathe and then breathe out, and then you relax a little bit. You notice which parts of your body are tighter or tight, and you will it to relax. And then that thought may come again. And when that thought come again, acknowledge it, thank it, and then let it go, and then come back to your breathing again and feel the difference. Whenever you bring your focus back to your breathing, how it is more relaxing, and you can see that you're letting go of tightness. And as you do this, there might be emotions welling up. You may feel like crying. You may feel like you're feeling a felt sense of anger. And stay with that. Allow yourself to feel all that. Right? If it's feel anger, you just feel that. Feel the body getting hot, the tightness in the body, and then there's like so much heat. And stay with that and kind of like be just observing that. Okay, you do this a few times, coming back, and while this, I'm going to explain just a little bit about what's the difference between the breath and another distraction. Because in a way, when I ask you to go back to your breath, it's almost like a distraction from holding on to that thought or concentrating on that thought. And if we go out and sing and have fun, that's also a distraction. However, the main difference between that kind of an external distraction and your breath is that whenever you breathe, and especially if you breathe through your nose, don't breathe through your mouth, you actually nourishing your body. And whenever you breathe deep into your tummy, you're actually relaxing your nervous system, your brains, and giving it reprieve or relief from that sense of danger or having to be alert because I have to perform or I have to brace myself, I have to be ready for an attack, or any of that seems unpleasant or dangerous. So this is the difference with the breath. This is the quickest way that you can start feeling. So when you do with your breath, you notice there are tightness, there are tensions in your body, and allow that to be without trying to run away. Because the minute you try to run away, that pain, that unpleasantness, that worry, that fear, that anger is just staying there. It's doing nothing. But when you do the breathing, then it's going to start to relax a little bit. It's kind of like a soothing, warm, kind energy that comes into your body that's going to help, like helping the blood to flow a little bit more, or a little bit better, more effectively. And then also it relaxes all the tightness in the body. So in essence, all right, so you're still there. If you want to come back, you can just start feeling the chair that you're sitting on. Feel your back, butt against the chair, and feeling the arms on your armchair. And then just wiggle your toes and wiggle your feet a little bit. And then when you're ready, you can just come back and to this sharing with everybody here. Yeah. So I know this is a very, very short time for me to do this, but I'm hoping with this sharing, you have a little bit of an idea of how that could be done, and then you still need to practice it. All right. So that's basically my speech and my sharing. If anybody would like to comment or to ask questions, I don't know how much time we have. I don't see the time anymore. Are we okay with time?
Yes, we are okay with time.
Okay. So in closing, I would just like to remind you again. If you numb your emotions, you're going to not just numb the positive, but also not just the painful emotions, but also the positive ones. If you have been numbing your painful ones, you probably will have noticed that your capacity to enjoy, to have joy, is also diminishing every time. So, but once you start feeling your negative emotions and you feel some release, maybe it's sometimes it's through crying, sometimes it's through a realization, something will move. And emotion is basically energy in motion. So once it's moved and some painful emotions are released, and you also correlatively, I don't know if that's the word, but in correlation, you will be able also to enjoy more, to have more joy to the degree that you release the painful emotions.
All right, that's amazing speech. And I like it when you said we are all very good with not feeling. I really believe in that. Oftentimes when things are not going well for me, two things happen. One, I will forget about it. Let's not think about it. Or number two, I'll just suppress it and just sleep and numb it. So I have a question about that. Before we open the floor for Q&A for everyone, I have a question because it just suddenly the thought just came to me. When that happened, because this is a procrastination of my feeling of discomfort. When that happened, what should I do?
So what do you mean by procrastination of discomfort? Can you
When
I
things
didn't
are
get
not
it.
going well for me, I tend to let's not do it. Let's not deal with it. I don't care about it. Let's not even talk about this and work on something else. In a way, there's kind of like a procrastinating. Instead of challenging the feeling head on, I tend to not care about it. I tend to focus on something else, and this will grow bigger and bigger to the point where I end up blowing off or overwhelmed or burn out, things along that line. So when that happens, what should I do? Should I just tackle it head on? If that, what's the technique that you can share with
Okay.
us?
First, I would like to just ask you guys, everybody, remember when you are not feeling good, right? When you're not feeling good, you actually already in an anxiety state. And if you notice, whenever you're not feeling good, you make a decision or you look for a solution. Usually they're either short lived or they just don't work very well. Sometimes you regret it. It's like, oh, okay, I'll just do this. There's kind of like a desperation about that, right? So, and this is how we have survived. We go through life day by like this. I think some of you probably could relate to that. Like every day is like, okay, I'll just do it, but that is not healthy because eventually you're going to be sick in some way. If by the time you have sickness coming out of your body, that means your body cannot handle the emotional overload anymore. But now back to answer your question thing, and I do have some questions here in the chat that I would like to answer to. So hopefully understanding this, understanding the danger of not feeling, right? So there's the physical side and then also the relational side, because when you're not feeling good, you are going to project that to people around you. You start not quite liking them, you start not quite warm with them, or you have to pretend, right? And that doesn't feel good, right? So when you now, hopefully with what you realize today, whenever you feel like that, just stop noticing, okay, I don't like what I'm feeling right now. Just noticing that, or I'm angry, or I'm annoyed. Just stop and just say that to yourself. I'm experiencing annoyance, or I'm feeling annoyed, and just sit and just feel it, just for a little bit. Even just acknowledging and saying that yourself, I feel uncomfortable. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And that's actually you're already starting into the anxiety. Just by saying that, it's already like 50% of the work. And now the rest is just, you don't need to understand. You don't need to have a solution or know what it is that you're feeling. You just know you're uncomfortable. Just stop and then start breathing. That's all you have to do. And then the breath is so smart. It's so intelligent. It will go where it needs to be. It will calm you. It will soothe the organs, the brain, the nervous system. And sometimes you may need to breathe a little bit longer and sometimes a little bit shorter. And the more you do it, the quicker you can get into that. So whenever there's chaos outside of you, don't go outside yourself and thinking like, why did that person do that? That is so stupid, or I'm so stupid. Just stop and then just breathe. And I have a question here. Does it also work with stage fright? Definitely. So if you have stage fright, and I have worked with people with this, all you have to do, imagine, you don't even have to be doing it before. You imagine, because your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined, because it feels the experience of it. So let's say you have a speech tomorrow and you're nervous about it. Just imagine that I'm giving a speech tomorrow, and you can already notice the anxiety, the nervousness. So work with that, with exact same technique. Just stop and then just breathe and observe what's going on. And so the combination of breathing and observing what's going on is the magic combination. So I have another question from Angelica. After doing the breathing exercise and feel the feeling, what's the next step we should do to reduce it next time it is evoked? So would you like, I'm not sure what you mean by reducing it next time when it is evoked, because if you're already doing it, you're already feeling it. If you're really feeling it, you would feel more relaxed. I don't know if anybody has experienced this in this session. If you're experiencing that, and there is going to be a change, you're going to be more relaxed, your head going to be clearer, and and in my experience, often I would see suddenly I have more solutions. Whereas before I only have one solution. I have to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be so bad, or there's like a bad consequences. But once you clear, your head clears up, then suddenly there are more options. I could do that, and it's very magical. This, yeah. Angelica, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm
Does
still
that
here.
answer the question? Huh? Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, so sorry, I can't turn on my video currently. So what
Okay.
I meant with my question was, for example, when we were mad at someone and we keep it for ourselves for quite a long time. So every time we look, when we only look at that person, that anger comes to us. And what we
Okay.
can do to reduce that symptom is by doing the breathing exercise and feel that we are angry. But after that, the next time we look at that person again, maybe that anger will still come again. So what can we do to reduce that thing?
Yeah. Okay. When you do this exercise and you really stay with it, stay long enough with it, right? There's going to be some release and some change in you. And then I don't know whether you're doing it today, but if you can check after you do this exercise, you look at that person, do you still feel exactly the same, or a little bit less, or totally the same? Yeah. So if there is a little bit less, that means, oh, okay, something is already released. Just keep doing that. Yeah. And while you're doing that, if you feel a lot of anger towards this person, you may feel so much anger coming up in you. And then, yeah, like with what I usually recommend to people is hit the pillows. And I buy this, oh, I don't have it with me, but apa namanya, selang. I don't know what is selang. The water hose, right? The water hose. Find the one that is has that kind of like a little bit of a wire, so it's a bit stronger. Have it for about 50 centimeters, 60 centimeters, and just hit the pillow. It's very safe. You're not, like, so if you're angry with somebody, do this first, and you'll find your anger is going to reduce significantly. And if you keep doing that, if you allow yourself, the key is to allow yourself. So if the emotion comes, you allow yourself to feel it. And sometimes you cry, maybe you don't have a space to cry. Maybe you need to put pillow in front of your face to cry. Or if you have a car, you can go somewhere, just roll the windows up and just scream. Allow yourself to do that, right? So if this comes through, and then next time you see that person, check, do I feel exactly the same, or is it a little bit different? Because if you completely release, you would be able to see this person and not feel any reaction.
All right, thank you. I'll try it.
Yeah. I know this is a very short time, you know, like people, I sometimes coach people for yeah, many sessions. But this is the beginning. This is the key, or the basic of feeling.
All right, we have time for
You know,
one more question.
one,
So
all right.
is there anyone has a pressing question to ask?
You again, Ping. Let's wait if anybody else has a question. If not, then I'll take it.
Yes. I will do a countdown here. If anybody has questions to ask, feel free.
Going once, going twice, going thrice,
Gone.
gone. All
Yes,
right.
so
I believe any
yes.
question that is raised is going to represent some other questions. So go ahead, Ping.
Yes, the final question that I want to ask is, when it comes to breathing, oftentimes we just breathe like, oh, it's okay, just breathing is breathing. However, when I look at my son versus me, when I breathe, it's on my chest. My chest are moving. But for my son, it's the belly that's moving. What's going on with that? I mean, is that normal, or as we grow older, we just breathe wrongly?
I love that question. And this is something that I'm very passionate about breathing correctly. So first of all, don't breathe through your mouth. Okay? Breathing through your mouth has a different passage. Breathing through your mouth goes to your chest. It goes through here, through your throat, and goes through your mouth. I mean, through your chest. And when you breathe through your mouth, you actually carry a lot of bacteria, and it's not really, it doesn't calm you. And if you have like halitosis, you know, bad breath, or have crooked teeth, and like problem with your gums or jaws or teeth, this is already a signal that you probably breathe through your mouth and have been doing that for a long time. And then this other breathing is through your nose. So the nose has a totally different passage. It goes through the back, and then it goes to your tummy. And the tummy is where the nervous systems are, and this is the and it's cleaner. You know, it's cleaner. And if you notice that if you breathe through your nose, you probably would have less gungs in your nose. I know it's a bit gross, but it's the truth, right? So and then when you breathe, like some people say, breathe deeply. But what does that really mean? Breathing is like eating. Just because you eat a lot, it doesn't mean that you absorb a lot. That you may not be getting the nutrition. So there's a whole science about it. But if you breathe slowly and actually create a little bit of an air hunger, the feeling that you want to breathe, you actually stimulate your CO2, which is the one who would grab the oxygen. And we want to have that oxygen. So if we breathe just a lot, it's like, you know, there's a lot of things in that air, but you may not be getting the oxygen that you need. So the key now is to breathe very slow, like and this is the way of the samurai. I'm sure you like this. The samurai, they are trained to breathe so that nothing moves under their nose. You don't feel it, right? So I've been doing like a taping my mouth since I learned about this. Now about the child, this is so beautiful. When we were when we're a child, a baby, we breathe through our tummy, like, you know, you see your body, the body is moving like that. That is excellent. That's how we're supposed to breathe. Animals, if you look at animals, they breathe through their tummy. So that is the healthy way of breathing. So God and nature have taught us how to breathe properly. And how we change into a chest breather or mouth breather, the minute we experience fear, the minute we experience violence, violence is, you're not, just seeing violence, just seeing people fight, people screaming, your parents or neighbors, you already feel a constriction. And the minute you feel scared or shocked, you would start doing this like that, right? And then if you experience that a lot, if you're growing up in a home that is a lot of, that's not very harmonious, and there's a lot of yelling, a lot of that, that doesn't feel safe, you would breathe like that. And the same thing with the crack babies whose mother is an addict, they would be born and breathing through their chest, because this is already like their system is already messed up inside. So learn to breathe like your children. Yeah. So when I was talking about breathing and breathing and breathing today, that was all about breathing through your tummy. And breathing your tummy is an amazing thing. It's the best thing that you could have for free. And it knows, it has its own intelligence. It will go where it needs to be and fix and soothe and rewire what needs to be rewired. I'll give you an example. Once, I learned to breathe again when I was about 40, 45 or 46, because at that time my breathing was completely bad and I didn't know what feeling was, so exactly what I'm teaching right now. But I didn't know what feeling was about because I couldn't breathe. I didn't know how to breathe. So when I first learned to breathe, I was prescribed 10 hours of breathing lessons and I had to pay for it. I got mixed up. Sometimes my tummy, my chest, and sometimes I stop. So there was no awareness of breathing. And that makes such a big difference now. So with this breathing, one time I had a painful arm, like just a crick. And I went to massage and like a chiropractor, but it's just gonna, that kind of like, sometimes maybe you have experience, you couldn't lift your arm, it just gets stuck there and it's very painful. So it was going on for months, like maybe 3 or 4 months. And one day I was just like doing some breathing exercise, and then I just got lost in the breathing, and I breathed for I think about 3 hours, 4 hours. And then when I finished breathing, that thing was gone just by itself, right? No stimulation. I was just lying down. I was just breathing through my tummy, like that, like your baby breathe, just up and down like that. So breathing is very, very powerful. If you could look up the YouTube and for Oxygen Advantage or Breath. Oxygen Advantage is written by Patrick McKeown, and there's an audio book in YouTube, just the reading, and then also the other one is by James Nestor. It's called Breath. So they complement each other. So I strongly suggest that you read that. And they will also talk about depression and all that, and how breathing will help you to do all that. Breathing is the easiest way. And the okay, are we 6:30 yet? No, okay, we still
If I can add one point, which if it add
Yes.
value, we are also in Indian system is also a very ancient system, which there are a lot of literature studies about the breathing, and there is one technique which is very secretive but very effective. That we understand the babies breathe, inhale 3 seconds and exhale 2 seconds. So this is it's called universal rhythmic breathing. I mean, the universe, what the vibration is based on that. So this is a very good technique. 3 seconds breathe in, inhale, and 2 seconds exhale. It is many healers practice this. They advise this for some of the incurable diseases, which I have. One of my teachers taught me this. So you can read. There's a lot of literature available. It is supposed to heal a lot of diseases if you practice this. So the more we practice and it becomes our natural breathing, then we also breathe like babies.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you. That is an additional information. My approach to breathing is just simple. I try not to complicate it, just simple, because the more it's okay, there's so many, if you want to talk about that, there's so many ancient types of breathing, right? But sometimes they'll say, oh, it's too hard, or but just breathe. Just start with breathing. That's all you need to do right now. And then if you want to develop certain things, then you can research, do a little bit more research about what is it that you want to do. But the breathing that I'm really subscribing to right now, just breathing in, like very slow, light, slow, and deep. Light, slow, and deep. And about the same or a bit longer as it goes out, right? So if you breathe in for 3 or 2, then coming out a little bit, just a little bit longer. But that's it. If you can remember that, don't worry about it. Try to make it simple. And the most important thing is doing it. Do it. Like otherwise you just amass all this information, but you're not doing it. Just do it in the easiest way that you could do to start with, and then and it's particularly in regards to feeling. Yeah, sometimes we think, okay, if we do this, you heard of Buteyko and this and that also, but when you have an agenda for the breathing, especially for the physical aspect of it, then maybe once you're healthy, then you don't do it again. But the breathing that I'm talking about is self-care, nurturance, and do it every day. Just as long as if you can remember it, just breathe. And the practice of using the 3M tape for your mouth, it also helps, because if you're a snorer or if you have halitosis, and sometimes you don't even know if your mouth is open, and in that moment, that that 8-hour period or 6-hour period, you're creating potential diseases or disorders in your body. So just by that, it's a 3M. I mean, I don't have it with me, but I can show it to you in a little bit. All right. I think we're out of time.
All right.
It's only time.
Yes, we are slightly over time. So thank you so much for sharing. And if you have any questions to ask, follow-up questions to ask Miranda regarding breathing or on